Hi, this is Darlene Anderson once again, coming back with this Pimpin' Ain't Pimpin'. And I picked that because I wanted to pick something that was gonna grab the attention of people who are on the internet or basically surfing the internet, just looking for something to look at, or because our worlds are so small, and we're always waiting for someone to be able to relate to someone that, you know, even in our music, in the programming that is provided on the public television, people are looking to shape your reality or shape your perspective, especially if you're only limited to being in the box. And the box, meaning how I see the box, is the box that you live in. Everybody has boxes that they're confined to. Your box can be expanded by getting another box. Perhaps you got a computer. That's a box. Or even this camera is kind of like it's shaped in a box. I'm in a box. Or, let's see. Cell phones are a box. I mean, not everybody can afford the cell phone. Not everybody can afford the computer. But, life is limited to your circle of participation, even in the neighborhood that you live in, or the resources that are provided in that neighborhood. And so, every life is just something that we're living and blessed to be living. So we have to talk about how we participate in that box. And so I was talking about the SARB, Student Attendance Review Boards, and you really don't have a lot of time to communicate that to other people, but people need to know that once they sign that annual parents' rights notification, and then they pull you in for the hearing or the beginning of the hearing, a lot of people, parents who don't want to be dealing with the district attorney, come on now, think about that. First you were just thinking about how you were sending your child to school every day, as if that made a difference. And I'm going to say attendance is important, but what's more important is that you have the ability to measure the progress of your child in the public education classroom. If you can't measure progress, and if you don't know what that teacher is how the teacher's trying to move those children, or how you can measure movement of those students in the classroom during the daytime, well, attendance really doesn't matter, because there are so many games at the school site that affect attendance in the classroom. If your child has a problem and they're pulling your child out to sit in the office with the principal, I don't think that child's learning. Or if your child is sitting outside the classroom door, which I've seen so many African American kids during my 20-something years of raising my children, I've seen African American kids or Latino kids or kids of color sitting outside the classroom, just sitting outside the door while class was going on. I don't think parents understand that these are some of the ways that teachers deal with kids who don't transition well. And I think that the need to understand what's going on while you're out there trying to make it for your kids, that stuff is happening. And then eventually, your child doesn't really have the skills to participate in the classroom. And no one has afforded your child a set of tools to be able to participate. So pretty soon, they're having a hearing and you're choosing what you're thinking is better for you as a parent, simply because you can't keep on coming up to the schoolhouse to make sure that your kid gets to stay in the classroom. You're going to take the option to do a home study. Let me tell you, honey, home study is just what it is. You're on your own. It's not a home school, because the school district assumes no responsibility that you get a home teacher or a home school provider. And they don't even I don't believe they tell a lot of parents that you have to go to the county office of education and register to find a homeschool provider, where a teacher is coming to your house to help you teach and train your kids. Because teaching and homeschooling is solely a choice given to all citizens. Anyone can homeschool their child. But when you choose to do that homeschool option, you are totally responsible for educating that child and getting the resources, getting the books, ensuring that the child has technology. And, I was at the store one day and I seen a little boy, and I said, well, what are you doing out of school? He said, I go to the Success Academy. And I said, Success Academy? I almost choked. I said, what are you doing out of school because, that's basically your last stop in Sacramento City Unified School District before you're out on the street. And he said, yeah. He said, I'm homeschooled. And I said, wow, you really are homeschooled because you can't even say schooled. And if you got to the Success Academy, and that's the program that's supposed to be modifying your behavior, and they assume no responsibility, they screw you too by putting you out. And you're still being suspended or expelled. And I'm saying, wow, what have we come to? I mean, I think, I didn't get to experience it, except for maybe one time when we lived in Texas, is to go to all black school. And I got straight A's. I was shocked. I thought that, well, coming from the military, it was the same opportunity. I was getting A's there too. But then when we left the all black school in Texas and went to the all white school, I got straight F's. I even flunked square dancing. And then we left Texas and came to California, and one of my teachers was drinking. She kept her alcohol in the bottle in the drawer, and you could smell that every day. And, basically nobody was paying attention. But, I graduated okay. I wouldn't say I graduated at the top of my class, but I graduated okay. And then, really not understanding how education was going to affect my life, I don't think I utilized it, my skills to the best of my ability. I won't even say that. To the best of my ability, but it doesn't really matter. I think I've been very successful ensuring that my children have gotten a public education. And I fight very strongly to ensure that if you ask me for some support and I'll share with you how I ensured that my kids were being successful. And I will help you as much as I can to ensure that your child will be successful. But, the real deal is it doesn't matter what color we are in America. It just matters that we're citizens and that we have a right to be treated like every other citizen. It doesn't matter what color. They claim this is a melting pot. And as far as I'm concerned, I never experienced slavery. I don't know how it is to be a slave, even though every February in Sacramento, they make sure that you know what slavery was about. And they also make sure that you know what to be subservient, how to be a subservient African American, meaning that I just don't know, Mrs. Charlie. I don't know what happened, but I can ensure that it won't happen again. Just give me one more chance. And I ain't that either. That's what I can say. But I've seen a lot of maid movies where African Americans were being the maid and where they had to send the dogs out to catch the runaway slaves. And my goodness, this is all mentally shaping the minds of our people. And when you go to the public education system, if it's only about behavior and no one's advocating for you to ensure that you know how to read and write, and then basically if they know you don't know how to read, how these teachers stand up in front of the class and demand that you get to the part of the book where you stutter and are nervous about your reading level skills, and they don't work with you independently. I don't know what that is. But to me, that is not an education. That is demeaning and demoralizing. That's what that is. So I think that people should be held accountable for their behavior. And quite frankly, when it comes to all these sending the kids to the detention center after school because your behavior was not acceptable in the classroom, I don't think you should be able to do it because it's called willful defiance. And what is willful defiance? It's all left up into the interpretation of the person that is issuing you that detention slip, because that really takes away from your educational opportunity, and it's actually being utilized to transition kids out of school, because by the time they have so many referrals to the detention hall, then they can hold a SARB hearing on you and move you right out of the school. They ain't even got to be responsible for you getting no education. They don't have to give you nothing. So, because, you know why? Let's go back to that annual Parents' Rights Notification slip that you sign. That you agree that whatever the district provides in a third-party manner, but that be your resource for an education. So they have no responsibility to provide you a FAPE. And what did I say a FAPE was again? A free and appropriate public education. What's appropriate? Well, I guess it's just deemed to whoever's being the provider. Whatever commitment or whatever commitment level your school or your school site or your superintendent deems that it is. Because not all schools are failing. Not all teachers fail. There are some very good teachers. It doesn't really matter what color they are. It just means morally what their value system is, who they are as a person, and what their commitment level is in life. Because really, when it comes down to it, we all take that first breath the same way, screaming and coming out your mama's behind. And we all die the same way. The last breath is the same. So whenever it's your time to go, you don't have no extension. You can't purchase no extension on life. And that's real. I mean, that's real. There are so many people that have lost their life, literally, are not here with us anymore. And they didn't get to buy an extension in life. When it was their time, it was just their time. But there are babies being born every day. And they didn't ask to come here. But we as human beings should be concerned about what system of accountability, what system that we live in. And as an American citizen, if you claim to be an American citizen, what services are being provided to all citizens, and how we have an ability to be able to utilize the services that are here. And this equity thing, this ensuring equality, that we get to benefit from the tax dollars that we all pay. The public trust, what does public trust mean? I think that some people really need to get online and find public trust and read what the public trust should be, and know that we ain't got no public trust. We ain't got no trust in the public trust, simply because the people that we elect don't really protect our interests. They don't really care if we benefit or not. They just care that they have the power to determine who gets the benefit. Now think about that. Public governing boards for school districts get to choose who gets the benefit of those public tax dollars. They don't measure the ability of the agency to be fruitful and multiply, basically, ensuring that it's a benefit. They don't do any of that. They just get to choose their friends and family members. And this is crazy that year after year, districts are uplifting people in the community because they can. And they're not operating under any public trust. They're just operating because they can. Because that's what they choose to do. Because they were lucky enough to be in the house early and then get to determine their livelihood and their success. And then also their friends and family members, they get to lift them up. And there's no equity in this. Think about it. Your tax dollars get to benefit somebody, but you don't get to have a say in it. And now, with this new push to moving public dollars, meaning public trust dollars, meaning federal dollars and state dollars that go to the government and the city and the state and the local and the county. Now, these are your tax dollars. Everybody pays. Now, they want to move those to private industry. Well, that's where they were going anyway. But now they just want to skip the part to where you might have got a job, where you might have been able to be competitive and get a job and provide services to your community because you're a citizen and you pay some of those tax dollars. And if you go to school and you get the right education, and then you can be competitively competing for a job that would provide services to the people in the community, oh no, baby. That day is over. That day is over because the Republicans push our state and county and federal dollars into private industry. Because for whatever reason, only the private industry can provide those services. Oh, yet still, what did I tell you about third-party providers? No accountability, no oversight, and no determination as to who gets to benefit from those dollars. Because who's in control? Let me tell you, baby. It's those persons and the people that you elected to, your elected representatives, that ensure that they get to control where your tax dollars go. And you put them in office. But then you, when you go to talk to them and tell them you're concerned as a citizen, all of a sudden, you are just one person. And what does it mean when you only have one citizen is coming to concern? You don't represent anyone. You only represent your own personal views. And so, since I know I represent no one, I represent me. And I have the ability to share my voice to my children and my friends and family members, whoever wants to tune in. Quite frankly, I don't care who tunes in. Because, I can sit here for a few minutes and share my concerns with my community because I have a right to do that. And so therefore I do. And so there is so much that I can communicate to you, but I think I've done enough. I think I'm tired for the day. But I think that we all have personal responsibility to step up. And we start talking about third-party providers, which I'll go into a little bit more in a few minutes. I'm going to take a break right now. And thank you for tuning in. This is Pimping Ain't Pimping Unless It's Done in California. And this is Darlene Anderson. Thank you.